there's also the issue of kind of having a theme or a bigger point. I mean, we talked about this throughout this class, but it's even more important when you're writing an entire book, because if nothing else, eventually you're going to have to do publicity for the book, and people are going to say, why did you write this book? And you don't want to just say, because that show was fun, or I enjoy rap music, or whatever. It's more than that, right? You want to have a bigger point. And in this case, my bigger point was about how the women's movement, and actually I think this shows as an example how all movements are shaped by certain shows that come along, or other pieces of pop culture that come along and kind of become iconic because of their intersection with a certain movement or a certain cause, whether or not they meant to. And this also ends up being a story about how a classic happens, and having the right people at the right time, with the right resources, on the right network, with a big enough viewership to continue on for 7 years. And I do think a huge part of its iconicness is the independent woman angle. So you want to have bigger themes to be reaching for throughout your narrative as well, so that it doesn't feel like, why am I reading this book, you know? So if you feel like all of that is kind of percolating there, you don't have to have it all absolutely laid out before you even start working on the book, but make sure there's something there. Then you can sketch out a little bit of an outline and see if you feel like you have enough in terms of, you're going to have probably like at least 10 chapters, right? Just as a ballpark figure, depending on how long your chapters are. So see if you think, okay, are there at least 10 chapters here? And when you sketch out what those would be, try to imagine them as chapters and see if they would really hold up for a whole, chapter's length. Those are, again, let's just say at least 10 pages, though that's only getting us, 100 pages at that point. So let's say 20 pages, 30 pages. So you have to make sure that this is going to hold up at book length. And then, you can start research, which is actually really, really fun. If you're writing about something you're really passionate about, which I definitely recommend if you're writing a book, you are going to be living with this for at least a year of your life. Actually, at least 2 years, because you're going to have to promote it. So you better be really excited about it for a very long time. So then you can dig into the research, which means, consuming a lot of this thing that you love, looking at examples of similar things, digging into books and old newspapers and magazines and Googling and having a great time. So that's the really fun part. You can start there and, see where it takes you. And hopefully it will be to a great, smart pop culture book. Thank you so much for being with me, and I will be on the message boards throughout the class periodically to answer any questions you have. Thanks.